What's up guys, it's ENDYMION, and today's video is about the destruction of a particular planet, the secrets within it, and what might have happened. As always, spoilers for the Mass Effect series, and if you love Mass Effect, I have tons of content on the channel, like it's ridiculous at this point. Consider doing all the things the algorithm likes, and with that, let's begin. The planet I want to talk about today is the planet of Rothla, a large ice dwarf located within the Draenei system of the Krogan DMZ. Rothla was seemingly and unexplainably completely decimated in a random event that caused the entire planet to explode into various smaller moonlets. Basically, the planet became a lifeless debris field. So what the hell happened to Rothla? Well, let's first read the description for the planet in full, and then we can go on with that. And I quote, "Once Rothla was a large ice dwarf with the statistics listed below. In the waning years of the Krogan Rebellions, it was shattered into fields of debris by what is assumed to have been the test of an exotic weapon system. In the wake of the event, the planetoid was reduced to a relatively contained field of thousands of tiny moonlets, rotating around one another, colliding, and ricocheting. The method used to destroy the planetoid has never been deduced. The Krogan clan who performed the experiment apparently all died in the event. Ships that have traveled to the edge of the event's light cone observed a moment of extreme gravitational lensing around Rothla immediately before its breakup, but no other clues." A popular extranet meme put forward by Asari author Delse Orthiza insisted that the Turians are covering up the existence of a Krogan superbiotic breed that was genetically engineered within Rothla. The CDEM enforces quarantine around the Rothla field, citing cases of amateur investigators whose ships came to grief in the debris field. End quote. Man, that was a lot of reading. So basically, it's theorized by this Asari author, Delse Orthiza, that the Turians were basically hiding the existence of a weapons program that was going to engineer Krogans into super weapons for the means of combat, I assume. But whatever went down, Rothla blew up like space confetti, and the Krogans who were unfortunately there all basically died instantly. So what was going on with Rothla? Well, to recap it quickly, basically before the Reaper War and all that, there was the Rachni Wars. The entire Citadel Council and their allies rallied together to push back the insectoid Rachni and stop them from overrunning the entire galaxy. But the sheer amount of Rachni became too much, and the Rachni Queen sat comfortably in hellish environments that the other races such as Salarians or Turians had no hope of penetrating, meaning the Rachni's numbers would keep increasing until they became impossible to defeat. So the Salarians went window shopping, found Tuchanka, found the Krogan who were not at the time ready for space travel, and realizing the unique regenerative properties and ferocity of the Krogan race, decided to send them like rabid dogs after a stake attached to a rabbit against the Rachni Queens. The Krogans killed the Queens, the Rachni Wars ended, and eventually the Citadel realized they had an even bigger problem now, with the Krogan basically being able to reproduce themselves at an alarmingly fast rate, and thus the Krogan Rebellions began. So the Salarians, the ones who discovered the Krogan to begin with, ended up creating the genophage to sterilize most of the Krogans so they couldn't multiply like rabbits in heat. So around this time, during the rebellions, the Turians, a proud and militaristic race, saw the true potential in the Krogans as walking death machines, and may have wanted to find a way to capitalize on the situation by creating their own, for lack of a better term, suicide squad. And since the Krogan can easily repopulate and heal their wounds due to their evolutionary benefits, the Krogan are clearly ideal candidates to be experimented on for military purposes. Because if you shoot a human with a gun to test something, that human will likely die instantly. Same goes for Salarians. But you could land a few bullets or many into a Krogan, and it would not even take the Krogan test subject a day or two to fully recover from the wounds. So perhaps the Turians were trying to create their own suicide squadron of super bionically enhanced Krogans, as they would be ideal frontline ground forces in case of any further invasions. If normal Krogans could overthrow the Rachni Empire, what could a million super Krogans with biotics and gene experimentation be capable of? But it obviously didn't work out with Rothla, the ground zero of this event, being blasted into space dust. And at the center of this explosion was apparently a Krogan Research squad. So what happened? I have a few theories. The first being is that this ambitious project to make Super Saiyan Krogans resulted in a legion of insanely powerful Krogan who were wielding biotic powers they clearly didn't fully understand. And the combined strengths and efforts of these Super Krogans led to a massive biotic massive field event that ruptured the entirety of Rothla's structure. Basically, imagine if one Krogan were Goku from Dragon Ball Z and he's about to use Spirit Bomb. In order to use Spirit Bomb, Goku needs all living things to give up a little bit of their essence so he can use the Spirit Bomb to wipe out whatever he's fighting. Now replace Goku with the Super Krogan, the Spirit Bomb with the Mass Effect Gravity Spirit Bomb thing basically, and the other Krogans giving their biotic powers to this one big attack. This would lead to a giant Mass Effect Spirit Bomb becoming super unstable and blowing up in the Krogans' faces and seemingly wiping out the entire planet in an instant. For all we know, one of or maybe a whole bunch of these Krogans were extremely gifted with biotic powers, sort of like Jack in Mass Effect 2, but the Super Krogans didn't know how to control their powers appropriately, and given that Krogans love to kill and fight, you can see how badly this would go down. Not to mention, if it were the Turians of all people being the ones behind this really bad idea, that is also very odd, considering the Turians are not known for their biotic research. In fact, very few Turians within the Mass Effect series rarely, if ever, utilize biotic abilities. Turians instead rely on their weapons, armor, and military expertise instead to win conflicts. One of the only examples I can think of a Turian using biotic powers would be maybe Saren, but that's really one of the only examples. So you have an entire planet of Super Krogans being supervised and trained and created by a race that they themselves barely use biotics to begin with. It's like going to an Italian restaurant and asking for sushi. You're in the wrong place, asking for the wrong thing by the wrong people. So it's no wonder none of this worked out. You had people not qualified trying to do something they know astonishingly little about in the first place. The Turians should have just strapped machine guns to the Krogans. At least then they would know how to handle it. My other theory is that the Turians were trying to create some sort of super weapon, like a nuclear bomb, but have it be powered by Mass Effect fields, and it just went horribly wrong and turned everyone into space spaghetti. I think the Goku Spirit Bomb theory idea would be much cooler, mind you. It's also more funny as well. Imagining like 300 Krogans in a field and one Krogan has his arms up and he's rooting for his buddies to give him their power. And at first they're like, oh, hey, he's onto something. And then the bomb goes off and they all start screaming like, uh-oh. And then like a Turian general's on the phone with high command. And he's like, yeah, everything's going great. The Super Krogans are doing well above expectations. Research is going well. And he's like talking to the other Turian on the vid call. But the other Turian is like looking over the general's shoulder as this like big blue light starts consuming everything. And he's trying to warn the Turian general like, dude, something is happening. But the general just keeps going. And then he turns around to pour some more coffee and sees the light and the video call just cuts. Yeah, I just made a joke about hundreds of Krogans and Turians dying, and I'm not sorry in the slightest. Although the Super Krogan thread didn't pan out the way the Turians wanted it to, I'm pretty much convinced the Asari definitely have some Super Asaris on some faraway planet being created. And the Asari are the pioneers of biotic technology within the current cycle. I would be concerned of that being real over anything the Turians would be up to. But as for the Turians, if it doesn't shoot bullets or have thrusters, I think they should stay in their lane, but hey, that's me. Well guys, that's the unfortunate story of the Super Krogans and their incompetent origin story that led to an entire planet turning into space fireworks. What do you think of them? Do you think there's more of them somewhere else in the galaxy? What about Super Asaris? Or Super Volus? Now that'd be good. If you liked the video, consider helping the algorithm by liking, subscribing, and all that as well. Expect another video in the next few days, and I'm still getting back to normal here, but yeah. Thanks for being patient, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.